Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NBA slate on Thursday, April the 4th. We've got a smaller slate tonight, only 5 games, so not going to be as many props to like tonight. I just got 2 picks that I'm going to share in this video with you guys that I do like for this slate, taking a first look at the board on Thursday morning. We're going to talk through these 2 props. We're going to share why I like them. Before we do get started though, as always, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos and if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet, and if you guys are new to Prizepicks and if you don't have an account on Prizepicks, you can sign up, linked down below in the description, or just use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And we also do have a partnership with Sleeper. You guys can check out Sleeper, linked down below in the description, or again, use that promo code NOAH over on Sleeper. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $500. Now, if you don't know what Sleeper is, they are a DFS pick'em app similar to Prizepicks, really simple, easy to use. You're just picking over or under on player projections. You build out an entry. You're able to make up to an 8-pick entry on Sleeper, and you're able to win up to 100x your money. So if you do like chasing those high payouts, I definitely recommend giving Sleeper a try. And if you guys don't have an account over there, you can sign up and use code NOAH, get your first deposit matched up to $500 over on Sleeper. But let's talk through the picks I like for this Thursday slate, guys. Now I do want to recap the plays we gave out in Wednesday's video before we talk through today's plays. So Wednesday, really good day. Hit all 3 of the plays we gave out Wednesday. We did hit on Clinton Capella over 23.5 PRA. That cashed relatively easily. I think Capella went over his PRA line. I want to say like mid third quarter, early fourth quarter. Wasn't too much of a sweat there. Nicholas Claxton over 22.5 PRA was also relatively sweat-free cash. I think Claxton went over like early third quarter. That wasn't too much of a sweat. And then Naz Reid under 7.5 rebounds. That was definitely a sweat because I think Naz Reid had 5 rebounds in the first quarter. So I was not feeling good about that play at all. I was expecting it to be a loss. But the rest of the game, Naz Reid didn't really grab a bunch of rebounds. The game wound up being a blowout, which obviously helped, but that was something that I talked about in yesterday's video. That game had a really big spread. Minnesota was pretty likely to beat the crap out of the Raptors, especially after the Raptors ruled out RJ Barrett and Gary Trent. Like that Raptors team that they put out there yesterday, I mean, my God. I mean, I couldn't even name half the players that were on the court. And I feel like I know a lot of NBA players, and I didn't even know some of the guys that were on the court for the Raptors yesterday. So, good to win that play. Shout out to the Timberwolves for beating the crap out of the Raptors, so that way Naz Reid didn't get subbed in the fourth quarter. But we went 3-0 on the 3 picks we gave out yesterday. Hopefully you guys tailed and made some money. Also had a pretty good day in the Patreon with 4 out of 5. Needed 5 fantasy points from D'Angelo Russell in the fourth quarter to have a full sweep on Patreon. And I think D'Angelo Russell played almost the entire fourth quarter and didn't record like a single fantasy point. He was just out there doing cardio in the fourth quarter. But as always, if you guys do want more Prizepicks plays from me, I give those out over on Patreon. It's $20 per month. You guys can check that out. Linked down below in the description. Every play I give out on Patreon, I give a write-up for. Usually I post like a 5 or 6 pick entry on Patreon every day, and then I will highlight my 2 favorite plays from those list of picks. And yesterday we hit our favorite 2 plays. We also hit 4 out of the 5 plays we gave out on Patreon. So check out the Patreon, guys, if you're interested. Again, it's linked down below in the description. But let's talk through the plays I'm liking for Thursday. Again, it's a smaller slate, only 5 games, so I've just got 2 picks for today. But the first prop we're going to take a look at is going to be a fantasy score prop. And we're going to look at Clint Capella fantasy score. We're going to go back to Capella here, except we're going to take his fantasy score today instead of his PRA. And his fantasy score line sits at 30.5, and I like the over. Really interesting to see that Capella's PRA line, it's at 24. Yesterday, his PRA line was at 23.5. His fantasy score yesterday was 33. His fantasy score today is 30.5. So that's really odd. It's really odd to see Capella has a higher PRA line than he had yesterday, and he has a lower fantasy score line than he has yesterday. I feel like this fantasy score line should be like 33.5, kind of like it was yesterday. But let's talk through a while. I like this prop, and if you like to look at the last 5 games, you're gonna like this prop because Capella has gone over this line now in 5 straight games. The minutes are really what it comes down to for Clint Capella. Capella has always been a relatively productive player when he gets minutes, and so far this season he's been the guy that averages around like 1.15 fantasy points per minute. Typically, when he plays like 25, 26 minutes, he has a pretty good chance at putting up, over 30 and a half fantasy points. And the minutes have consistently been there for Capella, really as of late, just because they don't have, Onyeka Okongwu, which is it's a big injury. I mean, without Onyeka Okongwu, that's one less guy who can take minutes away from Capella. And we've seen a lot of times this season, sometimes Onyeka Okongwu will actually wind up playing more minutes than Capella. That's not as likely to happen with Bruno Fernando backing up Capella. Now, Bruno Fernando has actually played pretty well for the Hawks, but they're not going to go out there and play Bruno Fernando 28, 30 minutes. He's just not the player that they want on the court for that much. So we're still going to see the Hawks split the center minutes between Capella and Fernando, but Capella definitely has the upper hand. And if you look at the minutes lately for Capella, over his last 6 games, 29 minutes, 27 minutes, 33 minutes, 27, 26, and last night he played 30 minutes. Now, Bruno Fernando did get into some early foul trouble last night, picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter. So Capella probably saw some additional minutes because of that. But still, when Capella gets like 26 plus minutes, he's very likely to go over 30.5 fantasy score just with how productive of a player he is. He's played 26 minutes now in 6 straight games. He's gone over this fantasy score line in all 6 of those games. He's actually gone over this fantasy score line in 10 straight games when playing at least 26 minutes. And over his last 25 games, playing at least 26 minutes, he's gone over this fantasy score line in 20 out of his last 25 games, playing at least 26 minutes. And like I said, Capella's played 26 minutes now, at least 26 minutes now in 6 straight games. He only played 22 minutes against Charlotte, but that game was a blowout. Only played 25 minutes against Phoenix. I think that game might have been a blowout too. I think he got subbed out early in that game. A lot of the games lately where he's played lesser minutes have just been blowouts. Like against the Lakers, only played 20 minutes. That game was a blowout. But he played 26 against the Clippers. He played 32 against Utah. He played 27 against Portland. I'm expecting Capella to play 26 to 28 minutes here. He's a guy that averages like 1.15 fantasy points per minute. If you project him for 26 minutes, he's probably going to project for like 32 fantasy points. If you project him for 28 minutes, he probably projects for like 34 fantasy points. So I think this fantasy score line of 30.5 is a bit too low on Capella. I like the over. Hopefully this game could stay competitive. I know it does have an 11.5 point spread. The Hawks are on the second night of a back-to-back. I guess that's the one thing that concerns me a little bit, is that the Hawks are on a back-to-back. They're big underdogs in this game. But if this game stays close and the minutes are there for Capella, I like his chances of going over this fantasy score line. I think the matchup's pretty good too against Dallas. Daniel Gafford, defensively, never really been a great defender. Dallas, as a team this season defensively, they've not been that strong. Dallas is also playing at a faster pace. So I think this game has a potential to be kind of higher scoring. It does have a 228.5 total. So a lot of reasons to like this Capella over fantasy score line. I think this line should be like 32.5, 33.5. I think 30.5 is a few points too low. So that's the first prop that I like for tonight, guys. And then the other prop that I like to pair with that is going to be a PRA prop. And we're going to look at James Harden's PRA prop of 29.5. And I like the over here for James Harden. If you look at James Harden's recent games lately, it doesn't look very pretty because he's only gone over this in 1 out of his last 5 games. But you can pretty much take that with a grain of salt because right now the Clippers don't have Kawhi Leonard. Now, they didn't have Kawhi Leonard last game, and Harden was pretty terrible. He only put up 19 PRA against Sacramento last game without Kawhi Leonard. But there's a few things to note. Last game, for one, it was a blowout. Harden only played 31 minutes when typically in competitive games, we're seeing Harden play like 36, 37, 38 minutes. So he lost some minutes last game due to a blowout. The Clippers, as a team, didn't even put up 100 points, which is pretty rare for them. They're typically an offense that can consistently put up over 100 points. They only put up 95 points last game. Some of those points came from like the garbage time players too. So like not even, the starters weren't even contributing to all those points. So it was kind of just a really weird situation, kind of an outlier situation last game with Harden only putting up 19 PRA. He, this season, he has been a big beneficiary with Kawhi Leonard off the floor. And if you look at the usage rate for Harden with Kawhi off the floor, he sees a 3.7% bump in his usage rate, which is second most on the team. Only Paul George has seen a bigger bump in usage without Kawhi. And then if we look at Harden's per 36 stats, so I think this season Harden's averaging he's averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists per 36. So he's averaging about 30 PRA per 36 this season. Well, if you look at his numbers without Kawhi Leonard, 22 points per 36, 8.6 assists per 36, and 5.7 rebounds. So he's averaged about, doing the math in my head, he's averaged about 36 PRA per 36 without Kawhi. So he does get a big boost. Really, it's the scoring that has seen a big boost for Harden. He definitely has been a better scorer with Kawhi Leonard off the floor. So if you want to take a look at his points prop, which is at 15.5, I don't mind that either. I like both these props, honestly, more than 29.5 PRA, more than 15.5 points. But the reason I like the PRA a little bit more, because Harden, he does have a lot of rebounds and assist upside. Like if you look at last game, Harden only had 8 assists last game. I say only. He had 8 assists last game. He had 18 potential assists, though. He dominated the ball handling. He dominated the potential assists. The next highest guy was Russell Westbrook, who had 5 potential assists last game. So Harden definitely has potential to get like double-digit assists here. He's typically been a solid rebounder kind of all throughout his career. If you look at his rebounds lately, I mean, he's had at least 5 rebounds in 4 straight games. So if we think Harden has a 10 plus assist upside, if we think he's got a pretty good chance at 5 rebounds, I think I like taking PRA more than just points. But there are scenarios where Harden gets 16 points but doesn't go over PRA. There could also be scenarios where he only puts up like 14 points but goes over PRA. So it's kind of pick your poison. I like both these props though. Whichever one you like, you can go with. I'm personally going to take the PRA just because I think Harden does have some rebound and assist upside, which obviously you're rooting on that. You're banking on that when you take an over on their PRA prop. But if we do look at what Harden has done this season without Kawhi Leonard, so he's played 7 games without Kawhi. In those 7 games, he's had 43, 41, 38, 33, 29, 27, and 19 PRA. So he's over this line in 4 out of 7 games without Kawhi this season. 2 of the games he went under, he barely went under. He had 29 PRA and he had 27 PRA. In the game he had 29 PRA against Milwaukee, he shot the ball terribly, 5 for 16 from the field. The game where he had 27 PRA was against Boston, and that game was a blowout. He only played 29 minutes. And then obviously last game against Sacramento, he only had 19 PRA. It was a really bad game from him. I'd expect Harden to bounce back here. I think he's been really good this season with Kawhi off the floor. The matchup against Denver, probably not the best, but I think with the Clippers playing at home here, I think they're more likely to keep this game competitive. I would definitely be worried about a blowout if this game was being played in Denver in the altitude, but I think with the Clippers playing at home, I like their chances of keeping this game close. In close games, we can pretty much bank on Harden getting 36 plus minutes, and when he's played 36 plus minutes this season, especially without Kawhi, he has put up 30 PRA in a lot of those games. I mean, if you look at the 7 games this season without Kawhi where he's played at least 36 minutes, he's had 29, 41, 43, and 33 PRA. So give me the over on 29.5 PRA for James Harden as our second play for tonight. And these are 2 picks, guys, that I like for Thursday's NBA slate. It's just a 5-game slate, so just going to roll with 2 picks for today. But if you guys are going to be tailing me on these 2 plays, hopefully we can hit both these plays again tonight and make some money. As always, I do appreciate you guys watching these Prizepicks videos. Hit that like button down below if you did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys are new to Prizepicks, check them out, sign up, linked down below in the description. Or again, just use that promo code NOAH. When you sign up for Prizepicks, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.